These demons Ed and Lorraine Warren couldn't defeat haunted them till their very last day on Earth. The Devil Made Me Do It case. The Devil Made Me Do It case refers to the 1981 trial of Arne Cheyenne Johnson, who was accused of unaliving his landlord, Alan Bono, in Brookfield, Connecticut. Now, Johnson's defense attempted to use the claim of demonic possession as a reason for his actions. Johnson's defense was that he was possessed by a demon during the slaying of his landlord, claiming it was the same demon that had previously been exorcised from David Glatzel. Now, Cheyenne Johnson attacked with a sharp object his landlord Alan more than 20 times with a 5-inch pocket weapon during an argument. Now, Johnson's defense, led by his attorney Martin Manella, argued that demonic possession caused him to unalive Bono, claiming Johnson had no memory of the event and therefore no intent. The case became a national sensation and the first known instance in the United States where demonic possession was used as a defense in a trial. Now, despite the defense's claims, Johnson was found guilty of first-degree manslaughter. Now, the Devil Made Me Do It case inspired numerous fictionalized accounts in film and television, including the Netflix documentary The Devil on Trial and the movie The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. While many individuals, involved in the case, including Johnson, believe the events were authentic, others are skeptical of the demonic possession claim, suggesting, the possibility of mental illness or other factors. Ed and Lorraine Warren, known paranormal investigators, were involved in the exorcism of David Glatzel and later became involved in Johnson's case, believing that he was possessed by the same demon. Both Ed and Lorraine Warren maintained their belief in the possession until their passing in 2006 and 2019, respectively. Now, what Lorraine described about the possession in a series of interviews isn't nearly as elaborate as what we see in the film, but she did report David levitating and speaking in tongues, as well as having unidentified markings across his body. Brother to David, Debbie Glatzel, also described seeing her brother physically attacked by demons in a featurette made for the film. Now, the audio recording at the end of the film, which includes David screaming and growling, is real, but has never been released in its entirety to the public. It's also noteworthy that while the Warrens speak about David having one demon possess his body in the film, Lorraine repeatedly said it could have been as many as 40 demons possessing David throughout the real investigation of the case. The Amityville Horror House. Now, back in September of 1977, Jay Anson published a book called The Amityville Horror, which would later become the basis of a series of films released from 1979 onwards. Now, the book is claimed to be based on the paranormal experience of the Lutz family, a case which of course led to many controversies and widespread attention. Back in November of 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. unalived 6 members of his family at 112 Ocean Avenue in a suburban neighborhood in Amityville. He was ultimately convicted of second-degree you-know-what and was sentenced to 6 life sentences, with him passing away in custody in March of 2021. Now, DeFeo had reported that voices had told him to hurt his family. Whether these claims were true, we don't know. Jumping forward, though, in December of 1975, George and Kathy Lutz and their 3 children moved into the same home, and after just 28 days, they fled the house, claiming to have been terrorized by paranormal entities while living there. Now, on the evening of March 6, 1976, the home was investigated by Ed and Lorraine Warren along with a television crew from Channel 5 New York. During the investigation, a series of pictures were taken, one of the images allegedly showing a demonic boy with glowing eyes standing at the foot of the staircase. The Warrens quite quickly suggested that the home was occupied by malevolent spirits, with the Warrens' visit to the home being depicted at the beginning of The Conjuring 2, if you remember that. Now, this is the case, the demon, the haunting, that launched the Warrens to stardom. But don't think that it didn't come at a cost. It did. The demonologists became a household name for the supernatural after their involvement in the infamous Amityville house. Now, the Warrens came in and determined that there were psychic troubles even before the notorious slayings. A demon was in this place causing problems long before that. Now, the Warrens knew it and they had to deal with it. Even with the help from the Warrens, they weren't actually able to successfully rid the house of the demons. And so this is one case they weren't able to crack. The Annabelle Doll, one of the most famous demons that the Warrens ever encountered, Annabelle certainly gave the pair many sleepless nights. The story begins with two student nurses who received the Raggedy Ann doll as a gift in 1970. Well, actually, one received it from her mother. Sure, it was a nice gift at first, but it wasn't long after she had it that she started noticing some weird occurrences. They soon reported that the doll seemed to move on its own, sometimes appearing in different rooms or even throwing objects. They also found handwritten notes seemingly from the doll. You know, they didn't remember writing it, so it had to have been from the doll, with one in particular that actually said "help me" on it. She would leave the doll, in one spot, and then when she came home later the day, sure enough, the doll had moved somewhere else. This was creepy to begin with, but it gets a lot worse. One day she came home and noticed that the doll was covered in a red substance, which we know to be, what. It was at this point where she decided to seek a professional opinion. A psychic was consulted, and she reported that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins. Now, the medium told her about a little girl named Annabelle who was once a happy child playing in the fields until her life mysteriously ended. After her passing, she actually roamed the buildings that were built on that field. Now, one night, the nurse's boyfriend Cal woke up to see Annabelle shocking him. It was awfully strong and took over his body. Another night, Annabelle actually attacked him and left him with scratches all over his chest. They decided then to contact their local priest, and that was how the Warrens heard of their ominous story. The Warrens were called in, and they believed the doll was not possessed, but manipulated by an inhuman presence. They took the doll, claiming it was far too dangerous for the nurses. The Warrens, delivered the victims a shocking truth, saying that there was no Annabelle, and it was but a mere trick from a demonic spirit which was allowed to manifest the doll after their agreement. The Warrens told them that the spirit was given permission to inflict harm on them, and that if they remained silent, the spirit would have hurt them all within a week or two. They held an exorcism, and the doll, and they actually took the doll with them. Whilst driving, Ed lost control of the car for a few times, and the priest who had made fun of the doll was unalived in a dreadful accident. So, disturbed by the doll, the Warrens decided to keep it in a sealed box. I don't blame them. This thing almost took Ed Warren off the road and could have ended their lives prematurely. It's safe to say that they feared this demon a decent amount and were not able to actually successfully defeat it. The Annabelle doll was actually then placed in their occult museum, where it remains today on display. Lastly, we have the Bell Witch case. The Bell Witch is a legendary spirit in Southern American folklore, primarily known for tormenting the Bell family in Robertson County, Tennessee from 1817 to 1821. The entity, often referred to as Kate or the Bell Witch, is described as a very mischievous and vengeful spirit that could speak, shapeshift, and even be in multiple places at once. The haunting culminated in the passing of John Bell Sr., and the witch is said to have taken credit for it. Now, the Bell family in Tennessee experienced a very strong series of unsettling events, including strange noises, animal sightings, and physical attacks on them. The entity known as Kate communicated with the family, particularly targeting John Bell Sr. and his daughter Betsy with insults and physical attacks. Now, Ed and Lorraine Warren were involved in the investigation of the Bell Witch legend. Their involvement helped to bring the story to a wider audience and solidify it as a classic American ghost story, but they were never able to figure it out or defeat this entity once and for all. So they left this earth never being able to conquer the Bell Witch spirit. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'm your host, Ashley. Until next time, stay scared.